Green Goblin is a character that's been around for so long, and the man behind the mask, Norman Osborn, has really transcended that role. He's used so many names over the course of his mainstream appearances that I could probably do a whole video on just that. But what about his multiversal counterparts? Are they just as menacing and convoluted? Hello and welcome to the show with issues. I'm Auram, and today I am glad to finally be back to doing the Parallels segment. That is what we're doing if you haven't caught on yet. Anyway, it has felt like way longer than a month since I've done one of these segments, so let's get started. We're gonna start off with a bang. Norman Osborn of Earth 2-1119. Earth 2-1119 is probably not an alternate reality you're familiar with, and that's because it really only has one appearance. It's a world where Norman Osborn, who at the time was Iron Patriot, won his siege of Asgard. He was able to do this because the Sentry killed Ares before the battle instead of during it, effectively giving him full strength through the whole event. This allowed Osborn's band of villains to lay waste to Asgard and its citizens. The president took notice to Osborn's behavior, and Osborn did not respond well to the claims against him. The Iron Patriot plotted to kill the president because of this, and sent a couple of his Avengers, Sentry and Bullseye, to finish the job. Just before they arrived, however, Loki's Cabal showed up, a group of rogue villains that escaped from Osborn's Cabal after the siege. The Cabal told the Dark Avengers that Osborn ordered the hit on Sentry's late wife. This enraged the Sentry, and he transformed into the Void, his more senseless and dangerous personality. The Void murdered everyone in the room and escaped to track down the rest of the Cabal, including Osborn. He killed them all and then decided that the best course of action would be to eliminate all life on Earth. Not satisfied, he moved on to destroying the moon, and then the entire universe. What a happy reality. Next up is the Green Goblin of Earth 311, the 1602 universe. Norman Osborn, with an E, of course, was an Englishman in the New World looking for the Source, the supposed catalyst that gave people enhanced powers and abilities. Osborn believed that this Source could grant him unimaginable power. He sought the help of King James of England in an attempt to buy the island of Roanoke, where he believed the anomaly to be. The natives of Roanoke refused his offer, and after realizing that the Source had dissipated after Rajhaz's disappearance, he was imprisoned by them. It's probably worth mentioning that Rajhaz is 1602's Captain America analog, but his time displacement was really just reality hopping, not being trapped in ice. Eventually, Osborn began to make attempts at mending his relationship with the natives and colonists by building defenses for the New World to protect the colonies from the more dangerous dinosaurs. Yes, 1602's New World has dinosaurs for some reason. Osborn, of course, had an ulterior motive, however. He had been giving the natives blankets infected with smallpox as a sort of revenge. Virginia Dare, a citizen of the colony, took notice to this and tried to warn the townspeople, but before she could, she was killed by Osborn. The Spider saw this and stopped Osborn from continuing his crimes. It was decided that Osborn would be sent back to England to be tried there. Everything seemed fine on the boat to England until a pirate raid led by Wilson Fisk hit. Osborn's cell was hit with a cannonball, severely damaging his skin and inflicting a plethora of other wounds. His sentence was abandoned, seeing as he didn't have much longer to live, and he left back for the New World. Osborn contacted Henry Le Pym and asked to cure his wounds. Pym developed a cure, but it backfired and turned Osborn into a winged goblin-like creature. Osborn went a little crazy and tracked down the Spider, but was killed by the Bullseye in the crossfire. Now for the Goblin that you all probably expected, and the one that might be the most different from its Earth 616 counterpart, the Green Goblin of Earth 1610, the Ultimate Universe. Norman Osborn was a corrupt scientist working on a project to perfect a new super soldier serum for S.H.I.E.L.D. His version of the serum was called Oz, and it really didn't work that well. That was, of course, until an Oz-injected spider bit a kid named Peter Parker. This gave Peter spider-like abilities, and he became the vigilante known as Spider-Man. Crazy, right? Osborn noticed this and thought that if he combined Oz with his own DNA, he could become an enhanced, more powerful version of himself. The formula turned Osborn into a hulking goblin-like monster, and he went on a rampage, killing his wife and burning down his own house. The following day, Osborn attacked his son Harry's high school. Spider-Man intercepted and kicked him into a nearby river, assumed dead. He was, in fact, not dead and escaped the river, going into hiding. He began to overdose on Oz, constantly transforming into the Goblin, which caused him to hallucinate. Osborn started seeing things and hearing voices, including being tormented by things he called plasmids. The Goblin went after Spider-Man and threatened to kill his family unless he worked for Osborn. Peter refused, which caused Osborn to kidnap and attempt to kill Mary Jane Watson, Peter's girlfriend. Spidey beat Osborn, saved MJ, and handed the monster over to S.H.I.E.L.D. to be taken into custody. Later, Otto Octavius and Osborn plotted to break out of S.H.I.E.L.D. prison. Osborn transformed into the Goblin, and they both escaped. The dynamic duo recruited 3 other villains, Electro, Kraven, and Sandman, and kidnapped Spider-Man to be their 6th member. The Ultimate Six stormed the White House, but were greeted by S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Ultimates. S.H.I.E.L.D. brought in Harry Osborn to talk Norman down, and just as he was transforming back to his human self, Iron Man shot him in the back with with a beam that altered his genes, taking away his ability to transform at will. Over the years, Osborn would be in and out of S.H.I.E.L.D. custody, but everything culminated in a battle between him and the two Spider-Men, Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Osborn exhausted the Oz in his system, and the Spider-Man killed him. Okay, so full disclosure here, I didn't do much research on the time between his raid on the White House and his death because I'm currently reading through Ultimate Spider-Man and didn't really want super spoilers. Moving on, we've got the Gobby of Earth 9214, the Noir Universe. Norman Osborn was a circus freak, born with an extremely rare reptile-like skin disorder. He was bullied and mistreated because of this, which fueled his thirst for respect. He started wearing a mask, took the name the Goblin, and became a mob boss. His group consisted of former circus and carnival freak shows with dangerous talents. It was basically a Sinister Six analog. Osborn's reputation began opening doors for him, and he became a freelancing assassin for politicians. Osborn ran into the Spider-Man after ordering the Vulture to kill the vigilante's uncle. He escaped and soon took notice to a reporter named Ben Urich, who was causing him problems. Osborn sent the Chameleon, masquerading as J. Jonah Jameson, to kill him. Felicia Hardy, Urich's girlfriend, showed up shortly after the job was done and killed Chameleon. After hearing of this, Osborn kidnapped Felicia and was followed by the Spider-Man. The Spider-Man fought Osborn's thugs and knocked one of them, Kraven, into a nest full of spiders. The Spider-Man made his way to Osborn, where they fought until both of them were maskless. The Spider-Man decided not to kill Osborn, but a confused and spider-infested Kraven came back to the scene and killed him. Apparently, this Goblin's story is continued in the game Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, but that's very loose canon, so we're not going to talk about it. So there you go, some alternate universe versions of Green Goblin. I'm actually pretty glad I finally got to touch on the Noir Universe. It's not a hugely used or known about universe. But that's it for this week. Before we wrap up here, I should probably mention that snazzy new Parallels bumper. My friend Kevin whipped that up for me, so go check out his channel, his Twitter, and all that junk. Those links will be in the description. Oh, and talk about the Green Goblin or just Norman Osborn's crazy self in the comments. That all being said, thank you so much for watching. Next time I rule the world by killing everyone with a bad kidney.